COVID-19 has presented significant demand and supply side challenges for India's transport and power sectors. Challenges starting from liquidity constraint and supply shortages to shift in consumer demand and preferences. How do you see the recovery trajectory?
Yeah, we ended the conversation of the first question from the learning from the pandemic, right? So that we basically look at the temporary solutions, and we realize the problems, but generally we don't learn from from any instance. It may be economic crisis of the 2007-8 or pandemic or internal conflict. Now, but at this stage, yes, we have to be very, very careful because this pandemic has taught a lot of possibility for an economy like us, particularly the emerging economy like India. And your question on transport sector is equally important because this is one of the sector which India has the potential, not only in terms of reducing the greenhouse gas emissions, but also upgrading the technology. So India's transport sector has the potential to reduce CO2 and become energy efficient because we are not yet energy efficient from the transport sector because it has a larger demand for fuel. Now the question, how do we achieve it, right? So we must target or focus to invest on least cost energy solutions for the transportation sector. That is first. We have to support the resilient and the secure energy systems. Third, we have to prioritize efficient and competitiveness among the industries which are participating in India to come up with new type of vehicular systems. Yes. And also we have to promote social environmental equity in terms of understanding the negative externalities of energy consumption that comes through the roadways. Not necessarily roadways, transportation sector definitely combine roadways, railways and waterways and airways. So in some cases we are efficient, but in majority cases we are inefficient. So what we can do, we can actually potentially invest on for example, electricity vehicle.
Yes.
Right. So states like Tamil Nadu have already invested on that. There are heavy investment going on in the two-wheeler segment because the two-wheeler segment, I mean, again, we have to understand from the disaggregate level, not on the aggregate level.
Yes.
Right. Let us not have a policy at an aggregate level of what happens to the roadways because roadways is combination of multiple things. For example, you cannot have complete innovation on a tractor because that is the minimum requirement for a farmer. The farmer cannot adapt to the new technology, but you can have the new technology in the two-wheeler segments.
Yes.
Or let us look at Bombay, what they have done, or Mumbai, what they have done. They promoted the CNG in the autos. And probably Mumbai is the only place where you have CNG auto run completely. Or Delhi is competing with Mumbai, right? Now, unfortunately, other metros are still using petroleum products.
Yes.
So basically, the acceptability and adaptability of the technology, which is important from a policy perspective.
Very true.
So now, because already it is tested, at least in Chennai, that people are using electricity vehicles, and fortunately, through nuclear power plants, we are becoming energy efficient, and we are also becoming energy surplus economy. Unlike the old days that we depended only on hydropower power and then we have deficit and we were to purchase from different states. In fact, Tamil Nadu is a great case. Tamil Nadu used to be energy deficit state. Now it's an energy surplus state because of the nuclear power plant. Yes. And then when you have an electricity motor vehicle, then it is easy to reduce emissions, become more efficient, and also become lesser dependent on the import of oil burdens. So therefore, the clean energy should be a major driver for Indian economic recovery. Because see, what is happening is we're again starting from the scratch after the pandemic. So if we look at the clean energy as a major driver of Indian strategy to manage the fuel policy, that will not only reduce greenhouse gas emissions, but also it will encourage new possibilities of employment.
Yes, indeed.
Right. So, the supply chain mechanism will begin. That means when you have an electric motor vehicle, then you create new employment potentials for a lot of youth who are probably willing to participate in the production of automobile segments. And probably we can become one of the most efficient producers of the two-wheeler segments.
So, yes.
Right? So these opportunities are there for India, not today, but it used to be there. But we have to realize at least today, because we also signed, we are also party to the international community in terms of reducing our emissions. In IPCC, we are basically we are positively telling that we are definitely going to reduce emissions, and this sector particularly can have more scope. Not only the industrial sector, which is always considered to reduce emissions, but transport sector is equally important. Because what it can happen is we can create an automotive export hub through this if we can come up with an efficient technology. Let's talk about the battery also, right? The battery segments, which is used heavily in the transportation mechanism, right? Can we come up with a better battery? Because battery allows us to save energy.
Yes.
Because our energy saving potential itself is very less.
Very less, yes. And right, we are generating into a less space also. Yes.
Yeah, of course, yes. So can we have different technology where we can use the battery in different climatic conditions? Because India is also, very sensitive to the climatic condition, because we have the desert, then we have the snowfall areas, we have the rainy areas. So we have different climatic zones within ourselves, and we have to develop batteries which can sustain in all kind of ecosystem, right?
Yeah, India itself is a subcontinent, so we have different kinds of topography and the climate. Yes, sir.